All right, guys, welcome to the Beards and Booze special tonight, the Beard Hockey League. It's Aaron Sanderson coming here from Manitoba, and with me, Cprey Chernuka. Is it Chernuka or Chernuka?
Chernuka, actually.
Chernuka. Oh, that's even. Oh my God, that's 20 years. I'm gonna have to switch that up in my head. But that's almost like nunchucka. I like it.
Yeah, some people call me Cheese Naka or Chernobyl or stuff like that. It's a Polish Ukrainian last name. So
Yeah, Chertnocker. Where are you coming from? Where are you right now?
Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Grand Prairie, Alberta. So everyone else, go ahead, look it up. I'm near Brandon, southwest of Brandon, Manitoba. Cprey Chernuka is in Grand Prairie, Alberta. How far from Edmonton is that?
It's about 5 hours northwest.
Okay, right on. Um, I'll just let everybody know. There's my ice jingling. That's an empty drink. So I poured myself a triple vodka. Turns out I don't have any mix, so I just decided that ice was a good mix. And I tell you, the first few were kind of hard to stomach, but that's some Alberta Pure. That is the cheapest, however, highest quality vodka that you could possibly buy. I challenge anyone to find a better vodka than that. What kind of vodka do you like?
Well, you've given me shit for this before, but I have been drinking Absolute or Smirnoff.
Yeah, Smirnoff
But
is shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, so tonight I'm drinking Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Right on, Captain Morgan Spiced Rum. So, have you had any to start?
Yeah, I had just a little bit. I'm a lightweight, so I didn't want to pre-drink too much because otherwise I wouldn't be able to even be standing for the intro. So
Terrific, terrific. So what I've got right now is I've got a Young's double chocolate stout beer. I'm gonna crack that and I'm gonna pour it. But before I do, I want to introduce everybody to our signal bell here. I'm just gonna hear you're gonna hear a little jingle come up in about 2 seconds. Here we go. Not loud enough for you, Cprey. Can you hear it?
yeah, it's loud.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is that's gonna come up. I've got that set to 10 minutes on the dot. Now, whenever you guys hear that, what that means is that whatever drink Cprey and I are on, now we're not 18 anymore, so it doesn't mean take a whole beer and fucking poke the end out and slam her. This is just going to be finish off the actual glass you're on. But before I do that, this is basically a tally can, big tall can of my Young's Double Chocolate Stout. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You know what? You know what I'm going to start off with? I know we're going to get into the McConnell stuff right away, but Scotty Davidson. Oh, you can't even hear me pour. I did it so well. Can you hear it pouring?
I hear the ice rumbling slightly, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, that's an empty can. That's a full glass. I'm pressing start. We got 10 minutes till they've got to be done. Scott Davidson asked, he says, what? I want to get it right. Sorry, Scott, I'm going to find it. Oh, and of course, I moved all the friggin' names. Why is carbonation levels so important to quality stout? Do you have anything to say about that, or are you a light beer kind of guy?
I'm actually not a beer kind of guy at all. I know this. I'm all about either the hard alcohol or recently I'm trying to get into wine. That's what the wife likes. So
Yeah, wine. I've I've seen a few people say it, but red wine hangovers, man. I don't. You know what I used to do? I used to work at Air Canada in Vancouver, and we worked the midnight shift. And the only place open after our fourth day was IHOP. So for people who aren't from around here, it means International House of Pancakes. It's a breakfast joint, and we would go in there, and there'd be like 6 or 7 of us because after our last shift, we called it day 4. We worked 4 midnights and we had 4 days off. And after our last shift, the fourth day, we'd head over to the beach, which was right beside the Vancouver airport, and it was they've got this giant sewage pipe that goes 5 kilometers out into the ocean, and there's a beach beside it. So it's like the most disgusting beach on earth, but it was our beach nonetheless. We'd go there, we'd have a few drinks, and then of course we'd start we'd get hungry and we'd head in. And I remember we went to IHOP, and we probably shouldn't have been active at all, but we went into IHOP and they didn't serve any liquor before 11, so we just Oh, and we were off at 8. We were already half blitzed, and we'd just sit there and we'd order pancakes and pancakes and pancakes, and then all of a sudden 11 hit, and they didn't want to give us any booze. The only thing they were willing to give us was red wine, so we all had red wine at 11 a.m. in the morning after being up all night.
That's crazy. Yeah, for us, it was Denny's.
Yeah, same
Food
thing.
is
It's
terrible.
almost the same
Yeah.
thing. At that time, after being up all night, it's not that bad. Carbonation levels, though, I am a connoisseur of darker beers. I don't have many, but when I do, I like to enjoy them. And I'll tell you, this Young's Double Chocolate Stout, I didn't like it when it was cold, but I have had this thing sitting on a shelf for 2 weeks, and warm glass, warm beer, and it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. The proper amount of carbonization, I don't know. To me, it's all about temperature. All about temperature to me.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so let's get straight into McConnell here. Just gonna bring him up on the screen. Oh, look, it worked. You guys are seeing how actual technology efficient we are. So one of the requests came in that Dan Bacon actually wants us to take a look at McConnell's predictions and see how we're doing on here. So I've got it up on my screen. I don't know if Corey can't see what I'm doing or what you guys are seeing. But first, we have the Atlantic Division. Guess who we picked for first place in the Atlantic?
Montreal.
Yeah, you'd be right. And I would say that looks pretty accurate. What a good prediction, hey?
Yeah,
Go on.
it's just surprising because at the beginning of the season, Matthias and Lennart were just going crazy with the amount of trades that they were doing, and the chances of the team that McConnell did their evaluation on compared to the team now was looking like it was going to be completely different, right? So
Well, it does say top-notch defense, top-flight goaltending, and he's definitely right about the goaltending as well. I'm not sure if the defense has kept up because, from one week to the next, Lennart changes his team. Now, here's the thing. Second place, Tampa Bay Lightning. And, I would have called them first at the time.
yeah, and currently they're sitting, looks like 3 points out of a wild card position, but they're 7-3-0 in their last 10. So maybe they're going to do a surge, but it kind of looks like they're poised to sell at the deadline here. So
yeah, now let's head down a little bit further. He's got Buffalo picked at 7th, so he was way wrong on that.
Well, the joke is that Tommy Sims until he gets his win. So maybe McConnell didn't account for that, but I can't explain it. Like, Tommy's looks like a genius because I know that you look at his team and you're like, you can see that he's managed to catch fire in a bottle there, but I don't see, like, I see maybe a wild card team with that roster, but man, has he put it together, and he's 9-0-1 in his last 10, on fire going into the trade deadline. So don't change anything, Tommy.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could follow that advice, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm still doing well, though. Okay, let's head over to the Metro. He picked two really good teams who've actually done quite well, although in New Jersey Devils, your New Jersey Devils, of course, and Carolina Hurricanes. Problem being, Carolina Hurricanes looks nothing like it did when he wrote this.
Yeah, but Carolina's not really out of it yet. They're trying to make some deadline pushes here to get some talent in there to try to make the jump for the wild card positions. So
but they have been really good for a while.
Yeah,
they had a worse start than they have for the last little bit. But the funny thing is when you scroll down there, now I'm looking at 5th and 6th, and that's where he's got the Washington Capitals and the Philadelphia Flyers. And the Philadelphia Flyers, just of note, Eric Wolf has not changed his team probably at all since then.
Yeah, it's insane. And Eric's team there was down in the doldrums for the longest time, and he's fought his way back up, and now he's in second place in the Metro. So, and so it's surprising.
And of course, Washington's just played so well, and then now I would say that by Sean Davis's account lately, they're somewhat mediocre compared to how they were. So,
Yeah.
tough times ahead potentially, or maybe things are going to be okay. And I mean, if he's going to change course, he's got 1 day, 24 hours to do it because that team is not built to win next year.
No, he's kind of all in on this season, but he should be fine to make the playoffs. But you have to wonder if Sean might tinker a bit going into the deadline to shore up some depth and that sort of thing. So
Like, I could see him dropping his talent just a little bit, just in the name of a bit of contract security for next year, as opposed to before where he was just screaming through. Now, I mean, you got to be kind of questioning yourself if you're not too happy with how your team's been performing, and you definitely don't have a team next year. It's pretty tough. On to the Central Division. First place, Nashville Predators.
cough, cough, cough. Um, I thought Nashville would have been at the top as well. Like I totally agreed with this when McConnell brought it out. But man, what the heck happened in Nashville?
Well, you know what? I'm not surprised. Like, I know, all things considered, I didn't think Scotty was a last place team. I'll never say that. But I never considered it to be a first place team. I'm a big believer in team defense and goaltending,
Yeah.
and Scotty was not going in that route, and it never surprises me if you're at the bottom of the league and you have a great goaltender and good defense, then possibly time that you go and look for a new GM for your team.
Yeah, yeah. But with all that offense, the powerhouse that he had there, you would think that he could have maybe switched it up a little bit sooner. But yeah, it's tough. No one's trading starting goaltenders, so
Yeah, he's
what do you
got.
do?
Well, exactly. I know what I did was I drafted one, and for this, just me personally, and I know, I don't want to toot my own horn because hindsight is 2020 all the way, but I didn't take a goaltender when I wanted to. You took the goaltender that I wanted nice and early. I was going to take him in the second or third round. But what you did do, or what I did do, is I made sure that I got what I considered to be a top goaltender in Ben Bishop, no matter what. That was going to happen. And as soon as I saw kind of like the end, the cliff approaching, I went for it. I had to grab the guy.
Yeah, I underestimated the value of a good backup after uh, the original dispersal draft there, and I had to make some changes pretty quick because Aaron Dell was just a dumpster fire in net for me. I couldn't win a single game when I put him in net. So it's interesting the things that you learn as you go along here.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I'm in the same boat as you. I took a good backup, but my plan was never to keep him. You're the one who cued the idea to me of goaltender depth and its importance. But I took him with the idea that I was going to trade him this weekend at the trade deadline because I knew people would want him. There's no chance. Nobody's getting Halak from me. And, I mean, oh shit. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Let's hit dismiss on that. All right. Well, I got about 1 inch of beer left in my really, really large mug, so I'm going to down that right now. Oh boy, that's not how you're supposed to drink that kind of beer. Okay. Still tasted good. Where are you at?
Oh, I'm good. I got a liter pitcher here, so I took like a good inch out of it there. So
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I've got it pointed at 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th in the Central there with Chicago, then Winnipeg, then Colorado. I'm going to leave you at that. I'm going to head over and I'm going to grab a little bit of ice to top this up, and I'm going to start hitting the rum chata. So go on.
sounds good. So yeah, McConnell had Chicago and Dan Bacon ranked at fifth, and I know Dan was sort of flipping between future and win now and stuff like that at the beginning, but you can never discount Dan Bacon. He pulled miracles out of his butthole again, and his team looks poised to make some serious damage here. Granted, he's tied for second in the Central, but and he's on a bit of a losing streak lately. He's 2-5-3 in his last 10. I still think he's got a solid team. That defense that he has is insane. So we'll see what he does on the deadline here. I know he's looking for some scoring, but the golden rule is don't trade with Dan Bacon because you're gonna lose the trade every single time. So we'll see. I sent him a message there because he's been working, what is it, like a 16, 18-hour shift today. So just to say that I was interested in Slavin. So maybe we can do something with that. Maybe I'll toss him Tarasenko. So we'll see what he says.
We'll see. Okay, I'm sitting down. Just letting everybody know I've got a. They call it a tall glass. That's the official name for it, but it's not tall at all. It's actually short and wide. I'm gonna press start on our 10-minute timer here again. And it's about 3/4. It's got a bunch of ice in it, and then it's about 3/4 full of rum chata. Have you ever had rum chata, Corey?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what this is like. Okay, so sit there. Are your lights down dim?
They are actually, yes.
They are. Is it warm lighting too? Like nice kind of sunset type of lighting. Okay, imagine your feet are up. Okay, close your eyes here. Your feet are up, right? Beach is rolling in. Waves rolling in on the beach. Your feet are up. The sun is setting, right? Some beautiful Cuban woman comes by, and she says, "Sir, I have a drink for you," but not in my beautiful voice. Obviously, her beautiful voice, right? And you say, "Thank you, gracias, señorita," and you give her a few bucks, and then she buggers off, and you take your drink. You bring it up to your lips and you pour it in. It's ice cold, and you are drinking a cinnamon bun. It's fucking incredible. It's the best stuff you gotta have it, man. There's nothing like it on earth.
I'll have to check it out. Sounds great.
Okay, back to McConnell real quickly. I won't spend too much more time. He's got Winnipeg behind Chicago, and Winnipeg's a team I thought would be actually pretty good, and now they have been pretty good. But now that I look at them, I'm quite surprised that they are pretty good because there are some depth issues on that team.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what Jesse, the new GM there, does. I've had some talks with him, and he's a pretty stand-up guy. So I think he's going to make make a few sort of low-key deals, try to shore that up going into the playoffs here. But he is on a tear right now, 7-2-1 in his last 10.
Well, and it's incredible. The Kyle Rao has done nothing bad for Jesse, and it's amazing because Kyle Rao made it his personal vendetta against the previous GM and did everything he could to cause that guy trouble. And this guy, Jesse, just takes it with a breath of fresh air. It's not even a big deal. On to the Pacific Division. I shouldn't spend too much time on him. Anyways, on to the Pacific Division. First place, Vancouver Canucks. Well, I could have told you that.
And by a long shot too. You got a 9-point lead on the next person there.
Do I?
Jay in LA, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Jay's got a fucking damn good team. Like, really good team. I like his team. Well, I used to like it. You know what? I don't like it as much now. Do you know why?
Why?
He traded away my homeboy, Seth Jones, for Victor Hedman. And Seth Jones, so if you ever look on the that individual scorers page where it shows like hits and stuff like that, right? And this is not a Seth Jones story. This is a Dylan Larkin story. But Dylan Larkin has the league lead, I think, or he's right behind. I think the league lead is third, and I think Dylan Larkin has 2 shorthanded goals. And both of those happened in the same game against my team when he was on the Minnesota Wild. And guess who was passing that puck to him was Seth Jones. And Seth Jones just used to eat me alive. And I did everything I could. I wanted Seth Jones. I was bugging Josh Rose in Minnesota over and over. Give me Seth Jones. Give me Seth Jones. Wouldn't give me Seth Jones. And then, so what happens is, he gives Seth Jones someone else, right? Now, Seth Jones is in Los Angeles. Okay, so I respect Jay in Los Angeles a lot. He's one of my best buds on here. Love talking to him. Love talking hockey, talking Vancouver, talking anything with him. He's from my old my old stomping grounds there back in Vancouver. And, he won't trade me Seth Jones either. He wants a return. And I get it, because we're both challenging for, at least we were at the time, both challenging for tops in the West. And now Seth Jones goes, who had Hedman? Who did he go to? Not Dallas, St. Louis, right? That was a trade with St. Louis, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm sure. Todd got Todd Snyder in St. Louis picks up Jones, sorry, not Nash, and Victor Hedman goes to Los Angeles. So, beauty for me. Fuck both of you. You both just ruined your team, because you should never trade away a great defenseman. But Seth Jones I guess I'm all horny for him, because I considered taking him in the first round, and I also considered taking him in the second round, thinking that he would be around, and he wasn't there when I wanted him. But yeah, that's my Seth Jones story. Anyways, on to number 2, Anaheim Ducks. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we all knew Anaheim had a very elderly team. So and drafted by, what was his name again? Sean Young.
I don't even remember. I can't remember his name. He got the Kyle Rao.
Yeah. So cap team. Yeah. And like, poor Michael, like being saddled with that team when he came into the league. Like, it's so many contracts that were hard to move, right? So I don't think anyone really considered Anaheim to make it to second there. But
and here's the thing. Sidebar: Michael Stafford. Don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but tomorrow's your day, big guy. Because in my opinion, that is the team that needs. That is the team that has its absolute highest value tomorrow. And after tomorrow, the members of that team, I mean, not his core that he wants to keep, but a lot of the other guys, their value drops significantly, because a lot of the good players on that team are aged up, and they are already up in their mid-30s. And I don't know where he's going to be. I hope he's on tomorrow, but that's the team that I expect. If I were him, I would be making big moves tomorrow.
Did you see that he dumped Derek Engelland yesterday, or earlier today, rather?
He dumped him.
Carolina. Yeah, to Carolina for prospect Bear Hughes and a 4th-round pick.
Well, good for him. But you know what? That Engelland's another guy that I wanted later on in the draft. He's a beauty. He'll help Jay out. Good for you, Jay, for picking him up.
Yeah, I'll give him a boost, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, a little bit further down, 3rd place, Los Angeles. 4th place, San Jose. 5th place, Calgary Flames. 6th place, Edmonton Oilers. They're doing a little bit better. 7th, Vegas, and 8th, Seattle. This bottom half of Calgary, Edmonton, Vegas, and Seattle. What a group of teams that have all been kind of in it and kind of not in it. And David in Seattle there, that you've just been lucky to kind of been in it, because your team I pegged as last place this whole way, and there's no secret about that either.
Yeah, he's totally built for the future, and I would have to check, but he stockpiled a ridiculous number of picks. Like, it's insane. So that guy is going to be a force to be reckoned with here in 3 to 5 years. So.
All right, I'm just doing a check-in on Slack. I also drink expensive beer, says Scott Davidson. I want a preview of the opening menu. You said Captain Morgan and Stout Beer. Sean Hanley says Captain Morgan, Spice Rum, and Budweiser. Does that mean that Sean Hanley's drinking along with us? Maybe I'll ask him.
Probably.
Maybe we should have brought him on. Okay. quick question. I've taken off the McConnell screen. I've just got the little graphic in the back moving here, Corey. So just for me to sorry, sweetheart, watch your step there. I've got a web of cables, and my girlfriend just came downstairs. I don't want her tripping. What's the worst trade offer that you've gotten this year that you can remember?
Do I get to include Dan Bacon offers?
If they're the worst.
Actually, I'm gonna go with something I guess kind of recent here, where I got. I guess I'm gonna name the name. Is that what we're doing here?
Oh yeah, go if you want.
Matthias, sorry.
I say Matthias because I was a big Matthias Olin fan, but I used to say Matthias, so I don't know exactly how he goes, but he's an honorary Canadian, so we could just call him Matty. Oh shit.
Oh, drink time.
Okay, finish what's in here. I was close to done that one anyway, so that worked out well for me. I'm not keeping an eye on this either. I'm not going to game the system too much. More rum chatter for me.
Yeah. So, I got offered going to Matthias, Taylor Hall, and Jacob Trouba for Edler and Garland. That's the offer.
Well, why ever didn't you take it?
Well, I guess it's both Matthias and I were sort of, I guess, trying to add for a playoff position here. But Taylor Hall, double retention. I'm not going to dump him. Like, it's just not happening. Sorry. And I personally think that Trouba is substantially better than Edler for a value perspective. So.
Ooh, okay. Well, I guess it depends on what they're getting paid as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, Edler's getting up there in age, and he's going to be for sure being rated down next year. So he's got a really high defensive rating. I'll give him that. So.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump a little bit off the board onto one of our questions here. I got a shit ton of questions sent in, so maybe we should get through a few of these. You want to hammer through a few of these?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, let's go. I forget who sent this one, but it's on my list. Actually, I remember who sent this one. But anyways, I think this is Jesse out of Winnipeg looking for our championship prediction. So who do you think is going to be the Beard Hockey League championship this year? Go ahead, Corey.
Ooh. Well, in the West, I see Vancouver.
Oh, good choice.
Going to the Cup Finals. I see it. I see you in the conference finals with Dan Bacon.
Wow.
In the East, I think that Tommy will still get past in the Atlantic there. And if I was picking Metro, I'm going to go with Eric Wolf in the Metro. And I think Tommy wins it, actually.
Yeah,
in the final.
So Tommy wins. Does he go, like, are you talking about the full Stanley Cup?
Full Stanley Cup, 7 games against you.
Oh, wow.
And I think you're incredibly frustrated about it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so for me, who I've got picked, I want to pick myself to win the Cup, big time. But let's just say I can't pick myself because I'm pretty biased there in the West here. And I've gone and pulled up my Western Conference standings just to show people what we're looking at here. So in the West, I think believe it or not, it's going to come down to between myself and Los Angeles. Maybe Arizona, but I'm thinking Los Angeles. Just for overall complete team. I love Chicago. I love Winnipeg. I think that both those teams have major weaknesses still. Colorado, I don't even know if they'll be in there. Edmonton, there's a lot of teams that are still on the cusp, like the West, all the way up from, well, I mean, Christ, Seattle could still make a charge here. Anaheim's got a good damn team. They could be in there. But anyways, I'm going to say it's between me and Los Angeles. Let's say say I don't make it. Let's say Los Angeles goes through to the final in the West. Now, heading over to the East, man, hard not for me. I've been talking about the New Jersey Devils all year, and lately, though, something's been up there, hey? Hasn't there?
Yeah, it's been a dumpster fire. Just can't score.
Now, Washington Capitals, and, I love Sean Davis. Great guy. But I'm going to say that he goes out in the first round just because he didn't take care of the contracts, and it's going to piss him off. And that's like a sim lesson I feel he needs to learn. Not that he needs to learn. The guy's been around possibly longer than I have, which and there's guys here who've been around longer than me. I want to say, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said it was Ottawa, to be honest. Tampa's making a push. I don't think they're going to do it, but I think you're right. Right now, if Buffalo keeps up what they're doing, Tom in Buffalo, he should be there. I don't think Eric Wolf's Flyers have what it takes for the playoffs. I really don't. They just don't have the defensive depth. But the Montreal Canadiens, I'm going to say Los Angeles and Montreal in the final, and I'm going to give it to the Los Angeles Kings as the champions. No offense to Leonard, but you haven't had to play against the hard teams this year, buddy. I'm sorry. Not the really hard teams. The West is an absolute... It's the Wild West is what it is. There's some really, really quality teams, and anybody who comes out of the West deserves to win the Cup, in my opinion.
And didn't Leonard win a substantial amount of games in the shootout? Wasn't that what it was that he was talking about earlier today?
He has...
Or was it overtime?
Well, he has 5 overtime losses. You know what? I'll click on... Let's see how this works. Montreal Canadiens. I should check my little thing and make sure. Okay, good. I'm on the screen. Montreal Canadiens. Now you guys can see what internet is like out at my place. Oh, speaking... Oh, no. I thought there was 15 seconds left. There's like 4 minutes before we have to finish our drinks off. Montreal Canadiens pro team schedule. Let's bring this up. Well, this is good. We're gonna use a lot of time here because I'm having fun. How you doing, Corey?
Great. I'm looking it up as you're
Okay.
doing it as well.
So
here.
I'm on Montreal's schedule page here, and so shootout loss. So we're just gonna count overtime wins. All right. So or shootout wins, whatever. What's RI? What does that mean?
So it looks like 13 overtime wins from my count.
13 overtime wins. So that's good. I mean, it's better to have 13 overtime wins than 13 overtime losses, which I believe is what Colorado has.
6 wins in the shootout.
Yeah. So, he's got a good team. But the thing is
absolutely
the thing about Leonard, and the thing that I'm concerned about, so let me really take some time on his team. So Leonard's one of my favorite guys here. Love the guy. Talks to me all the time. Always ready to take any of my talent and give me nothing back in return. Wonderful guy. We don't always make any deals or stuff, but he's good to talk to, and he's a stand-up guy. So Leonard and his Montreal Canadiens, they've never been that team for more than 5 or 6 games. And so now, you've made it this far by trading regularly. But what's going to happen now, Leonard, when you don't have necessarily the option of trading away a guy who's not doing it for you? And, maybe the answer is he's just going to friggin' take over the league and finish with the President's Trophy. Who knows? But that's my concern is like, what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to keep my team together. I know I've been doing a lot of trading since my Pasternak trade, but trying to learn my team. So I feel I got a bit ahead of him on that one. But is he going to be able to put the guys that are struggling into the right spots and get them to grow and get better? That's what I would be worried about. And that's why I didn't put Montreal as the winner over Los Angeles. But, good enough to get you to the final, buddy.
Yeah, and All it takes is Vasilevsky getting hot, and it's done. It's over. He'll go all the way
Goaltenders
through.
win cups.
Yeah.
Goaltenders win
And
cups. Yeah.
he's been on fire this season, so
All right.
good Vezina candidate there.
All right. I believe you've got some questions.
Yeah, so this one's anonymous. From
Right on.
Anonymous. Based on your meme posting history, what are the hottest?
It's
what
not
are the
very
hottest-
anonymous now, is it?
What are the hottest LBGTQ websites that you normally frequent?
Well, Scott. Actually, it's probably not Scott. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. First of all, I think it's LGBTQ2++ or something like that. I'd hate to get it wrong because they don't like it when you fuck that one up. But I'm not going to lie. I go to a lot of L websites. L is really, really, like, that's something I am a champion of the L cause. So after that, I guess that's a bit of Q. The L and the Q kind of go together. The other things, it's not my thing, but I'm a libertarian, so you know what? Do whatever you want in life. But yeah, the L cause, I'm a big... Oh, what a great time to be interrupted.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here I go. I'm going to finish this one up. All right. You know what? Okay, everybody here, if you're listening to this, you're on a computer. We make sure the kids aren't in the room for this. That's really important. If the wife stays in the room for this, that's good, man. That's really good. Keep her around longer than just this. And if she's not around after this, whatever. So you're gonna take that that little arrow that's attached to the end of your mouse. You're gonna point it up at the address bar, and what you're gonna type into your address bar is xnxx.com. And that is where you can find all the L you need. I'm pretty sure you can find all the rest of the stuff if you're looking for it, but I like to call it the guy's encyclopedia. What do you want to learn about today? Type it in. Visual.
So we should probably repeat that one more time just to make sure everyone got that.
Yeah, that's right. That's xnxx.com. It's triple X with an N in between. It's hard to forget. So, okay. Great question, by the way. Thank you for that. Before we go on to the next question, I am going to throw something to you because I need to get more ice before I start the timer and add some more rum chata here. And I've only got 3 of these questions to ask you, and I'm already 1 down. So, Corey, if you could have somebody else's team situation, so this is pro, farm, prospects, et cetera, like the whole shebang, finances, you name it, not just their pro team, but if you could have somebody else's team situation, who would you choose and why? Go.
Oh, I don't think this is going to take very long. I think Dan Bacon's team. He's got a ton of talent there. There's a lot of future talent as well in there, but really good defense core. Lots of long-term guys like Svechnikov and Elias Peterson. Like, there's a ton of talent there. So if you're able to be a little bit patient with that team and sort of build around that, that's a pretty big roster that he's got there. But patience right now isn't quite my thing. I try to take a balanced approach with the Devils. So, but yeah, I would say Dan Bacon. That guy in Vancouver by the name of Aaron, he has a pretty good team too.
Good choice. Good choices, both of them. Okay, I'm restarting our timer. Did you finish your drink? What was in your cup there?
Yep, you bet.
All right, I just went and got some more ice, poured some more rum chata. Oh, a little burp. Nice.
More cinnamon buns.
Yeah, more cinnamon buns. And I've never learned it, but I bet they taste just as good coming up as they do going down.
Well, I got a question for you, actually.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So, this is another anonymous question
Ooh.
for Aaron specifically. So, on the nights that Canuck fans aren't rioting or burning down their city, what do they like to do for fun? I know you mentioned the beach, the sewage beach, and the the IHOP, but apart from that, what do you guys do?
Well, part of me wants to say we go to xnxx.com. Um, are you talking about Vancouver fans, or are you talking about fans of the Canucks in Vancouver?
I think he probably meant fans of the Canucks in Vancouver.
Yeah, because that's not me. So, and we have some general managers here from Vancouver, and just for some backstory. So, I was born in a place called New Westminster, Royal Columbian Hospital, 1980. That's it. At the time, it would have been considered suburbs. Now it's part of what's called Greater Vancouver. So there's Vancouver proper, which is the downtown, and there's everything eastward of it. Mountains to the north, so there's nothing there. Ocean to the west, so just islands and water, and then Vancouver Island and Victoria there. To the south is the U.S. border, so nothing there. And so the rest of Vancouver kind of pushes eastwards. It goes Vancouver, then Burnaby, New Westminster, and then south side of the river, you got Surrey, Langley, Abbotsford, Chilliwack. North side of the river, you've got Pitt Meadows. You've got, I can't forget Poco, Maple Ridge, Mission. And then they kind of all end in Hope, a town called Hope, which if anybody's ever been there, the reason they call it Hope is because once you're there, you hope like fucking hell it stops raining soon, because it never stops raining in Hope. I promise you. And then that's the limitations. Like, it is a trapped city. It does not have very far to grow. It's right up against spots where it can't really grow. And anybody who's ever been there, and anybody who lives there, don't deny it. It rains. I'm not even fucking kidding. It rains 250 fucking days a year. And that's just days of rain. Clouds is 300 days a year. So what do you do when you're not riding? What do you do when you're not moping around? You fucking go inside. Do what you gotta do. Fuck it away. Watch some TV. Listen to this fucking show. That's probably what a few of those guys are doing. Yeah. It's a very, very, very wet city. I used to love heading up to the mountains, doing some snowboarding there. But the only thing that really holds dear from that part of the world still is my Canucks. I really don't care if I ever live there again, ever. Too wet, too cloudy.
So did you go snowboarding up in Whistler, or is that a different spot that you're referring to?
Yeah, we did Whistler, and it's actually, most people go to Blackcomb. Whistler's kind of hoity-toity, kind of traditional skiers. I was a snowboarder. And so what you would do is you go to Whistler, Blackcomb, but that was more for like school and group tours, because it's you're talking about a 2.5, 3 hour drive to start your day off before you even get on the hill, right? My personal favorite is actually on the U.S. side. It's still open. It's called Mount Baker, and Mount Baker gets more snow than anywhere on Earth. So you're always guaranteed beautiful powder up there. And that was about a 1 hour drive from the place I lived in Abbotsford, which was really nice. But you could go up to Seymour or out to Hemlock, or I'm starting to forget some of the names of these places. There's Big White, of course, in the interior, but most people, you're 30 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on where you are, drive from some good snowboarding. Now I live in Manitoba, and it is 2.5 hours that people drive to go on the equivalent of a bunny hill. And they got black diamonds on the signs there for these bunny hills. So it's a different experience, but you know what? My knees don't work like they used to, so I'm fine.
It's kind of like the bunny hills in Grand Prairie. We have a valley that you ski into because it's pretty flat here. So it's yeah. I actually took out my stepdaughter out snowboarding for the first time a couple of years back there, and I've
Attaboy.
previously never snowboarded in my life before. So we both got lessons at the same time. So my trainer was a 16-year-old kid who was like holding my hands and trying to like get me to maneuver down the hill. And man, oh man, coming from a background of skiing, I have a ton of respect for snowboarders
Well,
because the amount of uh, like ab muscles that you have for that is just astounding.
yeah, that's me. I've got the biggest ab muscle of all. One ab. It's enormous. I was actually a skier first, and I loved skiing. I enjoyed it. And then one time I gave snowboarding a try, and I'd say the first 90 minutes was the worst fucking hell ever. It was incredible. Like, I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. And I feel for surfers because I think it's very similar for surfing, right? But
Yeah.
as soon as I figured out, hey, here's how you stay up on the board, here's how you cut, here's how you get, here's how you move from one edge to the other and make a turn and keep yourself controlled. And the one thing they teach you, I'm sure that little boy that was holding your hand told you, don't look at the trees. Wherever you look is where you're going to go on a snowboard, right? And I tell you, by the end of my first day snowboarding, like, I was jumping off edges and landing them. Like, the progression, once you get it, the progression is amazing. It's so much easier because, like, when I was skiing, when you fall out of your skis, it's a process to find the fucking things and put them back on and get yourself sorted and get going again. And it hurts, and you got to wear those goddamn boot. I'm sure they're improved since then, but like, the stormtrooper boots, the things where you can't move your ankles, right? Like, oh my god, no, I like the boarding.
The Napoleon Dynamite shoes. Yep.
Yeah, but you know what? That's my boy. He's gonna be 14 this summer, Eric. And I said to him, hey man, you ever want to try snowboarding? And he says to me, no, Dad, that's what old people do. Oh, what a world, hey? All right. I got a question here. Came from the boss upstairs. All right. And I'm talking about Tommy, not your girlfriend. Or your wife, sorry. What is your unbridled thoughts on beard hockey thus far?
Well, it is better than I thought it would be.
Oh.
I had some reservations of bringing the gang back together. I thought that you have this idea of how things were, and we're all in the leagues in the PFHL. PFHL, is that what it was?
Yes,
back in the day.
absolutely.
And it's tough to measure up to those memories that you had 10, 15 years ago or whatever it was. But it's been fantastic. And the technology is different, so doing these types of things like podcasts, and it just brings it to a whole new level. And doing live drafts, and like, we never would have done something like that back in the day.
You don't miss spending all night on ICQ working 6 or 7 trade deals?
No, not really. I think it's like it's pretty much like Slack, really, except Slack is easier. I can do it on my phone, right? So
well, that's just a thing, right? Like, back then, for those like I mean, who's young in our league? Eric Wolf will have barely a clue. Back then, we had to do everything on a PC, and you had to leave it on, and you had to wait for ICQ to go, uh-oh. You remember that sound? Uh-oh. And that meant someone had sent you or doo-doo-doo. And wait for these messages to come in, but your PC had to be running. And this is like, man, I remember, do you remember Russell Butterini? Of course you do. Anaheim Ducks GM. He should be here in the beard. He really should. But I remember convincing him to switch to an LCD monitor from the old CRT. Oh, look at that. Sorry. Drink time. I'll finish what's here. God damn, that's good. All right, I'm going to top that up and hit start again. I'm going to run out of rum chata at this rate. And I got a lot of rum chata. That's not... Well, hopefully I can upload tonight for Tommy. You know, anyways, back then, I'll segue into how I feel about the league too. Like back then it was much more raw, I suppose. Like when I ran the league, when I ran the PFHL, I had been in several other hockey leagues and I went, man, I could do this better. I know I can do this better. And so I started the PFHL and I think I did it better. The thing is it fucking crashed 3 separate occasions until I switched to STHS and it stopped crashing and destroying the league files and corrupting them, which was awesome when we switched to STHS. But, you know, I thought I could do this better. And one of the things that was really important to me, and I remember advising Tom when he started his Skyward Hockey League, which was basically a copy of the... Well, I don't want to call it a copy, but it was the GMs that were in the PFHL when I finally had to shut down and say, fuck it. Tom kind of took the torch and started Skyward, and so it was kind of a continuation from there in some ways. And I remember telling him, I was like, man, you got to have a good message board. Don't get these fucking message boards. Like, our forum. Don't get one of those. There's no activity. They will kill activity. Get one of these live message boards where everything that's a reply, and it kind of looks like Reddit does nowadays. And we used to have those, that fantastic bulletin board, and guys like David Kaiberger, Dan Bacon, Sandy, was it McCarthy? No, he was a hockey player. Sandy McDonald, Sandy McSomething. Guys would go and just write some inflammatory, ridiculous post, and then all of a sudden you get 25 people replying. And, we didn't have Slack at the time. We didn't have mobile phones. Nothing like that existed. And that was just so cool. But that's what we needed to do. And now, my unbridled thoughts on beard hockey so far, man, good job, Tom. Good job. I think the rule book is, how do I say it? Thorough. Like maybe even a little too thorough, because it's hard for me because I look for things. But at the same time, I'm big on rules. If there's a rule, it's there. If people are active and people are sitting there waiting for what you do, and people are excited about it, and they want to check in every night, every 2 nights, whatever, and they take it seriously, then it's a hit. You've done your job. You've done it. I mean, we're sitting here doing this. Why? Not because we dislike the beard. It's because we love what's going on. And that's the thing. If, we sit here and we go, okay, Tommy, let's just say, like my old sim, when I ran a sim league, I would spend 30 to 75 minutes a night doing this. The sim was easy, but doing the sim and then spending time with the guys and then building the website better and always improving and stuff. I know Tommy breaches that regularly, and that's great for him. But if we have a situation where he's doing that much work, now we look, okay, how much time is general manager Cprey Chernuka putting into his team? And if he puts an hour and a half a day into his team, well, now we're all of a sudden we're looking at 2,100 hours, or sorry, 210 hours a week of general managers putting time into this league. And you start thinking about numbers like that and you go, wow, if all 32 GMs are clicking, if everyone's on, if everyone's really putting it out there, like, that's a force to be reckoned with. That's pretty cool. And as far as I'm concerned, it's got my attention. It's going to keep my attention. I love it. He's doing a great job. Dan's doing a great job. They're both doing a great job. Anybody who's listening to this is obviously having a good time, or else you wouldn't even throw the fucking thing on. You'd be gone from here. And like with any league, there's ups and downs, and there's going to be more downs and there's going to be more ups, and some are going to be worse than the previous. But as long as one of the things that I really want to compliment Dan and Tom for is they're listening to the general managers and taking it into account. I think at first maybe
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like at first I think the line was a bit more hard. It was like, you know what, this is how things are going to be. But I think there was a time where they went and said, holy shit, you know what? some of these guys are right, and they started saying that. And if if 30 guys think something and you don't, and you're the commish, you can do whatever you want. But if you listen to them, you can make the league better. And everybody there's nobody in this league that doesn't want to be in this league right now. There's not a single person here who says, oh fuck, I wish I wasn't here, because they'd quit. It's pretty easy to just hit no thanks, sorry, see you guys later, have a great life, and move on. But nobody's doing that. And the reason nobody's doing that is because there's so much to offer. So good job. Keep listening to your general managers, and the who knows how great we'll be in 3-4 seasons from now.
Yeah. I agree 100% with what you said. Tommy and Dan Kevin Bacon, have done a fabulous job with this league. So it's got GMs engaged. The little additions like the trade deadline stuff tomorrow, the live stuff and the podcasts, and everyone, you could tell that the GMs that are part of this league love it, and they have passion for this league, and that's incredibly important. And full disclosure, I joined another league that I will not mention, and it's nowhere close to being what this league is. Just because I wanted to see what it was, and to sort of, try to expand my knowledge on the STHS sim. So, because there's things that, like I'm always trying to learn and to scour the STHS forums and stuff like that to get a broader perspective of, the inner workings of the sim and stuff like that. But it's this league and the GMs that we have, like there's such a good core. It just makes it great. And this trade deadline, it's going to be great. So.
Alrighty. Question from Leonard Westman. You notice how I get to pose it to you. It's so nice to let you talk first. We already fired a handful of general managers. Who, in your opinion, should be next, and why?
Ooh. Well,
You kind of want to say the Montreal general manager for putting us in that position to answer this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we want to.
I can take the lead on this one if you want.
Sure. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, number one is Dan Bacon, followed by Colin Small in Arizona. All right. Followed by Jay So in Los Angeles. Followed by Dean Richter in Edmonton. And who else? Oh, followed by Jesse Edwards in Winnipeg. So these are all
to the cup.
Yes, exactly. Fire absolutely fucking everybody I got to get through to get to the cup. But in reality, no. Obviously, we're not going to pick someone. I think if you don't want to do the minimums, which is keep your lines taken care of and keep yourself between the cap, and if you don't have the time to put into this, because I put a bit of time into it, I dedicate a good 10 to 60 minutes a day on average. If you don't have the time to put in it, and you're not willing to man up and leave the league, then you should be fired. And I'll say it right there. Like, if you're putting the time into it and you care enough about your team and you're doing your team the honor, and they would be no better off with a different general manager than you, then you deserve to stay. Otherwise, that's the person who should be fired. So that's what I got to say.
Yeah, I'd concur with that 100%. There's always times where people get busy with life and various things that are going on and that sort of thing. But if you can't be active, then why are you part of this league, right? So
Yeah, exactly. So Jesse Edwards has a question here. He says, and this is my, I've got a lot of good questions from a few different general managers here, but this one is my favorite one, and it's because I have strong beliefs behind it, and it's a technical thing. So he says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is FO, so the face-off rating, for a center? So what do you think on that? What's your idea?
on a scale of 1 to 10, is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
I would say probably 8 or above. I think possession is extremely important from what I can see in this league, and being able to start a play with the puck is huge. And the only exception that I would make to the face-off thing is if you had a high, really high potential player that you're trying to develop, and you're putting him at center. But if you look at my team, for example, the Devils.
Here, you know what? I'll bring it up right now. So I'll hit standings, and I will find the standings. I'll hit New Jersey Devils. Look at how fucking technological I am.
Yeah. So you have Jonathan Taves, first line center, face off 98. You have second line of Nugent Hopkins, 77. Yeah. Third line center, Nick Bonino, 84. And fourth line, Mikko Koivu, face off 84. So, with the exception of Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who has 80 potential, who hopefully will increase, I'm a 100% firm believer in having centers that have high face-offs.
I would probably agree with you almost for sure. I'm just what I am. I went through your team while you were talking about that. I've just got up to the face-off percentage in the league and who's done the best in the league so far. And I've been removed from my top spot by my good friend Jussi in out of New York. Well, technically out of Finland, but I am now second. So number one is Jussi of the New York Islanders. Jussi Kalmi at 54.54, Vancouver Canucks 54.43, Nashville Predators 53.9%, and New Jersey Devils 53.8%. Obviously, as the that is the overall face-off winning percentage, but it doesn't guarantee you a win, and that's what I kind of want to go to. Because if I go to the bottom here, the worst team in the league, and I told them it was going to happen right from the get-go, is the Chicago Blackhawks at 41.82%. But here's the thing. New York Rangers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers, Philadelphia Flyers, St. Louis Blues, Colorado Avalanche, Columbus Blue Jackets, Vegas Golden Knights. So now we're up to team 23 before we have another bona fide playoff team in Buffalo Sabres at 22. I believe it's huge, and basically for the same reasons that you said. I think Dan's team is just so it's talented in other ways that it can make up for its lack of face-off. But just like everybody else here, after my games are played, I go and I open. You know what? I'm going to do this. Let's go to the Vancouver Canucks here. I go and I open up my team game, and I scroll down. This should be no surprise to anybody because everybody here. Oh, here. Hey, look, I beat the Ducks today. Sorry, Michael. Well, they did really well against me. I go down and I scroll on down past this junk. And what I do is I go into this full play-by-play. And no, I don't read the whole goddamn thing. And I scroll down until I see something high in bold. So here's what I see in bold. And I go back to the time that they entered into the actual scoring zone, and I look back. So puck retrieved by Martin Jones, pass to Logan Couture, pass to Subban, neutral zone, line change. Subban moves puck in a Canucks zone, pass to Duchesne, wrist shot by Duchesne, shot blocked by Akari. Puck retrieved by Ryan for the Ducks, wrist shot by Ryan, deflect by Duchesne, stop by Halak, good job Halak, with a rebound, bad job Halak. Free puck retrieved by none other than Derek Engelland for the Anaheim Ducks. Slap shot by Derek Engelland. Shot blocked by Colton Scavor. That a boy. Good job. Free puck retrieved by Derek Engelland again for the Anaheim Ducks. Slap shot by Derek Engelland. Shot misses the net. Free puck retrieved by Cal Clutterbuck. Snapshot by Cal Clutterbuck. Goal by Cal Clutterbuck. So I actually go into here. Now, here's a thing that I tend to see quite often. I know this is a little bit different. What I see often, and it's not just with my guys, it's with other people's guys too, is Ryan O'Reilly wins the faceoff. Shot by Jake Gunsel. Goal by Jake Gunsel. Or TJ Oshie wins the faceoff. Shot by Jason Zucker. Goal by Jason Zucker. And I see this at least once in every game. That's out of every 5 goals. Ooh. Guess what time it is? There we go. I got a decent amount to finish off this time. Okay. Oh, dismiss. I've already started the next one. My God, this stuff is good. Fucking amazing. You got to try it out, Corey. I got to do ice on my next one. I'm running low on ice here. Anyways, I would say 1 out of every 5 or 6 goals, if that face-off isn't won, doesn't happen. And so for me, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's super important. It's the reason I got Eric Stahl onto my team. It's the reason that, my team is the one that scores the most goals, and I'm going to credit that for probably 10 to 20% of my goals is my face-offs. And so that's where you can hear it. You can hear it from me right there. Doesn't mean it's actually a big deal, but look, is this where we ask questions? Yes, we are live. This is a little bit ago. Aaron, if you could only...
going to bring that up.
Okay, well, why don't I let you bring that up now that I've answered that question on how we... Now that we've taken care of the face-offs one. Thanks, Jesse Edwards, for that question, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Theo Pepper...
Love Theo Pepper. Do you know he's only about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours down the road from me? He's in, I don't know if he wants me to say, but he's in Saskatchewan. He's on, the highway that he's on is only a 4-minute drive from my house. And I bet you he's right on that highway, just like everybody in this town. And I'll tell you, when COVID's over, buddy, you better have a spot for me because I'm coming over and I'm going to drink some of your beer.
All right, so Theo asks, Aaron, if you could only pick one Sedin to babysit your children, which Sedin would you choose and why?
Oh, Daniel, 100%. It's got to be Daniel Sedin. Anybody who knows the Canucks know that Henrik Sedin and Daniel Sedin, I don't give a fuck what you say, bunch of fucking haters. They were the toughest, best players in the league for about 4 years. Go ahead and watch some highlights. No, you can't beat them. Anyways, it's got to be Daniel, and here's why. If Henrik had one of those kids, all he would be doing is trying to pass it off to Daniel anyways. So I might as well just give it to Daniel, and he'll score a babysitting goal.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Sean McAndrew. Is it McAndrew or McAndrews? Fuck, I fuck that up all the time. Let me see. Let me look on Slack. Sorry, Sean. You're sitting here listening through my...
McAndrews.
So there's 2 of them. Okay. I remember. He gets right into it here, hey? Which GM would you like to fight? And who do you think would win?
Well, that's an interesting one. I think I would choose Scott Davidson. I've never met the guy before, but...
Well, he's a redhead. That's dangerous, man. They know how to fight.
Oh, okay. Well, I better change my choice.
It was like, have you ever heard Boy Named Sue from Johnny Cash?
Yeah.
So anybody who hasn't heard the song, go pull it up. Johnny Cash, Boy Named Sue. You know, the guy left his kid at a young age, but he named him Sue, so everybody would kick the crap out of him. So when he got older, he'd be tough, and then he meets his kid in the bar one day, and Sue almost kicks his ass and thanks him for naming him, basically. And then says, finish the song off. If I ever have a kid, I'm going to name him Bill or George, anything but Sue. Anyways, Scott Davidson's a redhead, so same thing. You give your kids the red hair, and they got to learn to be tough. And I would not fight a redhead.
Well, I didn't say I was going to win, so.
So Scotty Davidson, why him?
I just think he seems like a scrappy guy. So, but I don't see myself winning. I'm 5'3", 142 pounds. So, yeah, I'm not winning any fights unless I punch him in the throat or something. So.
Wow, I don't know how tall Scott is, but his picture. He's a Bruins fan. Really sticks by it, so he's probably pretty short too.
You've seen that? He probably licked me at some point, so.
Well, anyways, okay, so I'll answer that as well. So for that question, God, some background. My two sports that three, technically four: basketball, football, rugby, and boxing. So I used to be a boxer, so I'd love to have a go with anyone, just for fun. The guy who I'd really like to go is the guy asking the question, Sean McAndrews. I would love to go a few rounds with you because, he's fit, he's in shape. The guy's got an athletic history. He's dirty enough to ask a question like this from me, It's not a bad thing to get your bell rung every once in a while. Let's have a go at her. And the thing that I really like about Sean is I think afterwards, win or lose, I have a feeling that everything's going to be okay. It's not going to ruin anything.
Yeah, if I were to fight Sean, he'd be the guy to help me up off the floor after he wiped the floor with me. So
the way it is. Okay, do you got anything on your end, or do you want me to keep ticking away here?
I got another one, an anonymous one for Aaron. Why trade Jake Gensel heading into the playoffs?
Sorry, I'm just replying. Just did the Sedin question. I just letting Theo know what's going on because it shows him typing. Okay, why? Okay, first of all, I call him Gunsel because I heard that Stutzel is Stutzel instead of Stetzel, so I figure it's Gunsel, and it just sounds so cool, right? Why trade him? Well, why trade David Pastrnak? Right? The reason I would trade Jake Gunsel is because right now, his trade value is likely the highest it will ever be. He will never have a contract this low again in the rest of his beard hockey life. He will never be this young again. He's only going to get older. And he's extremely proficient. So I figure his value is absolutely top-notch right now. And it doesn't mean I'm going to trade him. But it does mean that I wouldn't be doing my team much of a favor if I didn't at least see what possibilities are out there for me. And you know what? I don't think anybody's going to come calling with this one. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't see them coming with substantial. I'm pretty sure you'll get a few offers maybe, but I don't see them coming with anything to sort of entice you to trade him. So we got a couple questions coming in from.
Yeah, I could see that from
chat.
Theo and Bacon. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bacon asks, if you could only have one Beard GM babysit your kids, who would it be?
One Beard GM babysit my kids. Well, I forget, but when I was interviewing, I think it was Sean there, he told me, well, I think it was Vince in Colorado actually does babysit his kids, so that would probably be a good guy. But who would I have babysit my kids? Well, I would choose Keith Evans out of Vegas, but he's not in the league anymore. He got fired like yesterday because he has babysat my kids in the past. And I'm not hard about the firing. You know what? He didn't have the time for the league, and that was a good move on Tommy's part. So who would I have? I could tell you who I wouldn't have babysitting them. I probably wouldn't have Scott Davidson babysitting them.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. I kind of feel like if Jay in Carolina was babysitting them, would be probably a pretty awesome thing because I've seen his He-Man's collection. Now here's the thing: if he's okay with the kids playing with it, he gets to babysit them. But if that's a bad thing because it's all collectibles, then I just made capital fucking mistake, right? So I'm gonna say Jay in Carolina. How about you?
Uh, I'm gonna go with I think the commissioner Tommy. I think you know he's a father to be, and he seems fairly strict, but also a little bit lenient. So I think that I'd get my kids back in one piece with Tommy running the show. He would be pretty. He would talk to them about
Tom's wife
did you run?
Sam. No.
Yeah.
Tom's wife Sam. He will put them in front of wrestling, and Tom's wife Sam will take care of it. Uh oh.
Yeah.
You hear that? Finish your sips. Okay,
I'm
I've got to get
drinking.
some ice here. Hold on.
So yeah, I think Tommy would say, kids, did you read the rule book for, you know, you spending time at my place? So he would reference that, section 4, subsection H.
Oh god, yeah. So I don't know if you can hear me from over there. I'm getting closer to my mic. So it's like, sorry kids. No, you may not. You may not have any ice cream because Rule 16, subsection 6B, and you should fucking know this, by the way, because you got to read it when you got here, so you should know every rule already. You you don't get ice cream because you have not swept the floor. So
Exactly.
that's
Or my toddler, you didn't pee on the potty, so you don't get the ice cream. It's clearly laid out in the rules.
all
So,
right. Drinks topped up. I've hit start again. I think
all
we've done
right.
that one. Sean
We got another
Hanley.
one.
Oh,
Oh, go
okay.
ahead.
Okay, Sean Hanley sent me a PM here. He says, I have something for you to talk about. How much better Ovechkin and Siegenthaler have played since joining the Leafs. All right, so I'm going to click. I've got to get this going here. So let's go on. I've been on standings the whole fucking time. I apologize to everyone who's been watching this. Sorry. That was a burp. Toronto Maple Leafs. Starting to take effect here, Corey. It's good.
So I've pulled up the Ovechkin stats right now. So with Vegas, he played 27 games, had 9 goals, 13 assists for 22 points. And with Toronto in 26 games, so very comparable.
Here, just
he has
slow
9.
down. Here, speak like really slowly. Speak like a Calgarian.
Oh. Okay.
Because
So
it's still coming up.
he's pretty on par with his Vegas stats. So I don't know what he really wants us to talk about, but I would say, 22 points in 27 games with Vegas and 26 points in 26 games with Toronto. It's
But you know what?
kind of close.
I've got it up here, Corey, and so if we compare him to Vegas, it's pretty close. If we
And
compare
Vegas is a
him
much
to,
poorer team.
but if we compare him to Chicago, it's mind blowing. Like he had a bad run in Chicago. He did not do very good. He had a lot of hits there. He had 2.1 hits per game, 2.2 hits per game, but
That's
the
5
points,
games, though.
two assists over 5 games. Yeah, and he didn't have a chance. And who knows what Bacon was playing him as. But now let's go down to Siegenthaler. Siegenthaler, 5 points in 26 games. He had 8 points in 32 games with Chicago. So he's right on par for that. He's right on par for almost everything else. He's a little bit ahead right now as far as hits taken goes. You know what? Hey, let's take a moment here. Sorry, Sean. They're playing great for you, yes, but not that much better. What the fuck is hits taken? Like realistically, like is that a good thing? Like is it good to take a hit or is it bad that you took a hit?
I think it's bad to take a hit because that probably means that your strength wasn't good enough to not lose possession.
Or your skating wasn't good enough to avoid it type of thing.
Yep.
Okay, so when I see hits taken and I see, who are the most at hits taken, I'm baffled. I don't know. Hey, should I my guys who are taking a lot of hits, should I be playing them differently so they play less physically? Maybe they shouldn't be playing physically. Maybe they should be more offensive or more you know what I mean? Like what do you do in that situation personally?
Uh, well, you probably need to place them with players that complement their playing style. So if you have a guy that doesn't skate that well, you want to uh, put him on a line with a guy that does, complement that so that he can sort of pass it off and carry the puck so that, second Thauer doesn't have to carry it all the time. So
All right, question from Sean McAndrews. Which deal do you wish you could have made this year? And I'm picking this one because I've got a good story here. But you're going to go first.
Oh, well, the deal that I wish I could have made was with our Dallas GM, Marc-Andre Laberge.
I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
Yep, it is Shea Weber. I'm all over that shit like nobody's business. But the ask is in fucking sane. In fucking sane. But yeah, that's the deal that I wish I could have made.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, here's the thing. A lot of people saw me go on a league questions and ask, "Hey, I know we can't. I know I can't just do a three-way deal with someone and send 50% of player X's salary to team Y, but how do I make this work? Because if I do a chain deal, I don't want any GMs getting fired because they got a certain player for like a fifth round pick. That would suck because that's how it's going to look when it's done. So the general manager I'm talking about, I was talking to Tommy Barr a bit for Evgeny Malkin, and this is like last week. I was really hoping to pull this off because I felt I had a depth issue that I need to address, and I did with Eric Stahl. I'm very happy to get Eric Stahl, but I was like, you know what? Malkin would be amazing. But in order for me to get him, I need to take out a lot of his salary. Like, what is he, 9.75 a year? Like, he's here. Let me just, well, you know what? You should bring it up. You're much quicker at this than I am.
7.25.
7.25. So if I get, so first person's going to need to take like 3.825 or something like that, or 3.8125, or I don't know what the numbers are. But so the idea was I need to give Columbus what he wanted for Malkin, get Malkin to an intermediary. And I had 5 intermediaries lined up. I'm not going to name who they were, but first one's going to take 50% of his salary. Then he's going to move on to the next one. They're going to take 50% of his salary remaining. And then he's going to move on to my team. And that's the one that I wish I would have done. Just because I really wanted Malkin. Now I'm happy I didn't because the ask on the Columbus end was too high. And if I did what he wanted, it wouldn't have been enough. And probably a good thing too. Tommy, you're doing a great job with your team there. Don't ever think that you need to trade something to me in order to make it better. But if I was Tommy, I wouldn't have done what I wanted to do, is what I'm saying. But man, I would have loved to have Malkin on my. He probably would have ended up on my second line, believe it or not.
And it makes it that much tougher to when you have a guy that has 2 years remaining on the contract as well, rather than someone that's pending free agency. Like Malkin has still substantial value to Tommy, so he has to get that value there, right?
Oh, this just in. Cprey Chernuka has said, "I need a brief piss break." So you can go ahead, take the headphones off, head to your piss break, and I'll start introducing the the next question here. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
You could just say so, right?
Oh,
Are you?
you know,
Is
I
your
just
stuff
wasn't sure if
all?
we're like, I wasn't sure if we're like taking the, pee in the bottle while on the podcast route, or if we were like actually giving the guests to the
Well,
podcast like
well.
actual break.
Here's how hardcore we are here. Um, is all your stuff wireless?
No, no, it's
No.
not.
All right. So can you get close? Well, here.
All right.
Let's do a test right now. Is your wife awake?
Oh yeah, definitely, and the
Okay.
kids too.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, and do it exactly as I say. Honey, please bring me an ice cream bucket to pee in, or a jar, or like a mason jar, and I just want to see if she does it.
Yeah, no, I'm not drunk enough to
All right, piss
do
break.
that.
You go drain the lizard, and I'll just keep the chat going here all by myself.
All right.
And I'll let you know what I'm on. Okay, so Sean McAndrews once again says, please give a current NHL player comparison for each Beard GM and explain why. So I'm going to rifle through NHL player comparison. God, I think Sean just really wants me to say something about him. So definitely Connor McDavid, Sean McAndrews, without a doubt, straight across. So fast, amazing, incredible, phenom of the league. That's Sean McAndrews. That's also Connor McDavid. Who's up next? So we could have Scott Davidson. Let's say Scott Davidson is probably your Brad Marchand of the league. You know, the guy that he's not afraid to lick a guy in order to get a reaction. Who else here? We got a guy like Brock Besser, so really talented guy, but it's not showing the way it should be. That's gonna be Vince Givens in Colorado there. Oh, we're gonna have to tell him that he needs to drink when he gets back. I'll just finish off what I've got here. And I'll top right back up. Okay, who else? Who haven't we mentioned here tonight? Let's head over to the east and see. Who haven't we been talking about? I'm going to give you Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, so their general manager is Tyler Hetherington. Let's say he's a goalie in real life, so we're going to call him Jacob Markstrom because he's super strong, super awesome, does everything amazing. And then just goes and fucks off and moves to Calgary and helps the fucking shit Calgary Flames. So, how about that one? Who else? Pittsburgh Penguins, Matt Swackhammer. What you got there in Matt Swackhammer? Definitely gonna be your kind of like your team guy. You know, your Jordan Staal or your Brandon Sutter, not necessarily the skilled guy, but the guy that just binds the whole team together. Who else are we? Washington Capitals, Sean Davis. So what NHLer is just giving her this year that's not going to have anything in the tank for next year? Probably Ovechkin. Although I shouldn't say that. Ovechkin will probably come out and rule the world next year no matter what. Minnesota Wild, Josh Rose. This guy is an agitator without a doubt. This is your old hey, Corey, first of all, you got to drink because we hit our time limit while you're conveniently away draining the lizard there.
How did you know I was back?
Oh, I can tell. I can hear everything. So can everyone else. So I've started the timer, but you got to drain your drink. Drain your lizard, then drain your drink. Who's one of the best agitators in the NHL right now? Is it Kadri?
I would say, He's up there. Marchand is up there too.
Yeah, but Marchand's a skill guy as well. You can't just call him an agitator. He's way more than that. Well, like Michael Furland. That's maybe Josh Rose is like a Michael Furland. He'll appreciate that because he's an Edmonton Oilers guy. Furland has been a Flame and then a Canuck, so that'll make him happy. And a fantastic player at that. Or maybe like a Ryan Reeves, hey?
Yeah, or Tkachuk, I think, is out of Calgary, is a kind of an agitator.
Which one's in Calgary again? Is that Matt? Or is that Brady?
I think that's Chuck.
Oh well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Tkachuk is there. It's not Keith. That's one thing we fucking know.
He's the turtle guy. He's the turtle guy.
All right, let's head down. Let's go back into Leonard's big list here. He made so many, so I want to tick off a few of him. Question number 1, Corey, because Leonard understands that you've got an empathic connection to other general managers in this league, right? Why did it take Scott so long to understand that his goalie sucked and that it wasn't about scoring more goals, but perhaps about not allowing as many?
Alcohol.
So you're saying that Scott Davidson drinks too much liquor, therefore he did not realize that you should stop pucks from being scored on your net?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Maybe he thought he could score his way out of that. I don't know if he wanted to position all his forwards in the net so that the other team couldn't score, but I don't know. It
you know what I think it was?
Longer than should have.
I think Scott sat there and he looked at his team and he said, "Fuck, I've drafted a good fucking team here." And he was right. He did have a good team, but it wasn't great. It was missing on defense and goalies, right? But he looked, he says, "Fuck, this is a good fucking team. Let's just give her. Won't it be something if I can be the guy that just gives her with my core from the thing and wins it?" And they came out blazing and they got his hopes up. And so he knew what they're capable of, right? Like, this is like that girl, right? So Scott Davidson's Nashville Predators, it's like that girl. Now, everybody here, well, I shouldn't say everybody here, but most people here, they've had a girlfriend or two in their time. And, you take that girl out and, you treat her right? And she does things for you. She does things that no other girl's done for you. The stuff we're not allowed to talk about here, right? And she does those things for you. And stuff that later when you're with other women, you think, wow, hey, remember that time she did that for me? I hope this girl does that for me. Like, she's that kind of a girl, right?
But she doesn't.
And
that
then
girl was unique.
No, hold on. So then you go and you're like, fuck, okay, that girl did that thing for me. Well, instead of taking her to Subway for the third date, we're going to the keg, right? So anybody from the States, anyone from everywhere else, if you take a girl to the keg, that's serious shit, right? Like, when your wife, you're a married man, so you can't be married in Canada without taking a girl to the keg. How early did you take your wife to the keg?
Well, technically, we're not married. We're just common law. But
okay, well,
yes, I have taken her to the keg. I would say 3 months, probably.
So 3 months. So why didn't you take her to the keg on the first date?
Well, because I wasn't sure that spending $100 on a first date would be wise.
Yeah, so the keg is like every single person in this great, wonderful country of Canada can afford to take a girl to the keg once. So you got to choose when that once is, because every other time that you take her to the keg after that is on credit, because it's not cheap, right? Now, this isn't like, we're not talking about Ritz-Carlton shit here that's unaffordable. We're talking about like every person in the country can afford to do it, but only once, right? So, once you take your girl to the keg, you know,
Things are serious.
that's serious shit, right? Like you like, so let's say you've had 10 girlfriends, Corey, and I'm just throwing that number out there. We don't need to get into this part of your life, but how many of them end up at the keg? Just the one that you're probably going to marry or that you're going to live with, right? Like it's got to be serious. So
Yeah.
Anyways, I think what the Nashville Predators did to Scott is they took him to the keg, and Scott went, "Holy fuck, you guys just took me to the keg." Like, this is the beginning of the season. He had like 5 straight wins. He won 7 out of his first 10 or whatever. I was like, oh my God, my team just took me to the keg. They're fucking amazing. I will fucking hang on to this team forever. And then he did, right? Like, and then he hung on to them because, and maybe Leonard doesn't understand this because maybe in Sweden there is no keg. Maybe that like, I don't know. This is not going to the fucking cafeteria in IKEA for fucking meatballs here or a little bit of salmon on a plank. Like, this is the keg, right? And so this team, David Krejci brought out like some steak and some lobster and put it in front of him and said, "Hey, buddy, here's your free steaming fucking bread with real butter, not margarine. Here's your free bread just because you're fucking awesome. We love you." And Scott said, "Fuck, I love you too. You can do anything you want to me." And then, because he went to the keg, the team went, okay. They talked amongst themselves. Team meeting. The captain, whoever his fucking captain is, Marchand or whatever. Not Marchand. He didn't have him at the time. Who's the Bergeron? Bergeron says, "Hey guys, we just took Scotty to the keg." You know what that means, right? Is like, we can do whatever the fuck we want for at least half a fucking year here before he even cares. So they took him to the keg, they juiced him, and he's like, fuck, telling me, he's telling you, he's telling Tommy, he's telling all the boys, telling Sean Hanley there, "Hey guys, guess what? My fucking Predators are amazing. You should see what they do for me." And now, they've been out fucking anything they can get their hands on, not even telling him what's going on. And he's like, but you fucking took me to the keg. You took me to the fucking keg. And, I think that's what happened. And then all of a sudden, it took a couple little tiny moves before he realized, holy fuck, Kucherov is a fucking asshole. I need my boy Marchand. And then all of a sudden he realized, I'm breaking up with this team. Yeah, they took me to the keg, but you know what? They've never taken me to the keg since. 7 fucking 11. 7 fucking 11. And he broke up with them. And since then, his team's been golden, right?
Yeah. I don't know how you run with Hogberg, though. 72 overall.
You know what? Dominguez there, right? Dominguez got more he's got just as many shutouts as Ben Bishop does, so who am I to talk, right?
The sim is a weird beast.
All right. Yeah, I had a good one there. Most overpaid player in the league. That comes from Leonard.
Oh. The one that comes to mind is, Braden Coburn was mine early in the season. Oh, but I think Andy Green is up there for me.
Really? See, and I think Andy Green's a fucking stud. Like, oh shit, Jordan Greenway. No, that's not who I want. Now, why?
I guess you probably mean value for what you're actually getting out of him.
Hold on here. Andy Green has a 95 DF, and he's only $5 million. You're saying that's over? Oh man, that's a good deal
for the length of the contract, and he's going down, down, down.
Oh, I guess so. So what you're thinking? No, he's asking about today. So I get it. 4 years from now,
okay.
When Andy Green's 42, and I'm 45, that paying him $5 million sucks. Oh, saved by the bell, hey? Guess what? Down what you got, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta admit, so I don't know how many ounces. This is a 26er. It's 750 milliliters. It's a 26er of rum chata. I already did a triple, so 3 straight vodkas, 1 tall beer, and I finished off the last 2 or 3 ounces of rum chata from my 1 bottle. I'm well beyond. Oh, I just spilled some on my toast, so I'm doing quite well. I'm well beyond halfway on this other rum chata, so things are going really good for me. How are they going for you? Are you on your second wine yet, Corey?
No, I'm still in the rum, but yeah, it's going down easy. That's for sure.
So, who's the most overpaid player in the entire Beard Hockey League right now, today?
Oh, it's hard because like part of me leans to Dubois, who's having just a.
Is he in Winnipeg right now? Did he just make it to Winnipeg? And he did in real life as well, right?
Correct. Yep. He for Laine.
So $5 million.
27 points in 61 games.
Okay. Well, you know who I'm gonna pick here. I'm going up. Oh, I just had him in front of me. If only I could remember what that was. Not in Seattle. Nathan McKinnon is who I'm picking. $9.5 million. Now, I'm pulling up his scoring stats. I'm sure they're not bad. But for me, $9.5 million should get you the best player in the league with the most points. And you know what? Nathan McKinnon is sitting a little above a point a game. 61 points in 58 games played for $99.5 million. 24 block shots. The guy's not even fucking laying in front of the puck. To me, that's overpaid. Now, you know, who's he got to play with in Philadelphia? That's questionable, and Philadelphia is doing quite well considering everything that they've got right there. They're sitting right there in second place in the Metro with 68 points, but also only 3 points ahead of Purgatory. Like 65 points is ninth place and out of the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So that's my choice. Anyways, okay. Do you have any more questions on your list there? I can buzz a few more through here.
There was a couple on the chat. I don't know if you got to any of them while I was.
I don't think I did.
Lizard. So another one from Theo Pepper here. In a universe where the Vancouver Canucks didn't exist and you had to pick a team to cheer for,
what a dick.
Tell us why the Edmonton Oilers would be your very last choice.
Okay, so this is a question for me. Aaron, in a universe where the Vancouver Canucks didn't exist, and trust me, as a Vancouver fan who grew up in Vancouver, there were 2 teams we always cheered for. Everybody in Vancouver cheered for Vancouver, and then they had another team, and we called that the team that might win. All right, so mine growing up, I was a huge New Jersey Devils fan. And then when Tampa Bay came into the league, I thought their logo was just incredible. And my parents bought me a jersey for them and everything. I was so proud of it. And so I was a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan right up until 2004 when they won the Cup. Huge Dave Andreychuk fan. LeCavalier just ruled that series. Anyways, so those were my teams. But he says, you know, tell us why the Edmonton Oilers would be your very last choice. And so I'm going to tell you why. All right? So this nuclear explosion that destroyed the Vancouver Canucks also took out the Calgary Flames. And because of that, Edmonton Oilers became my worst ranked team. Because previous to that, I would have had to say, like, the Calgary Flames would be my last choice because I fucking hate the Flames. Like, you have no idea how much I dislike the Flames. My buddy's a big Flames fan. You know, he's got a Calgary Flames tattoo on his fucking arm. Like, come on, man. And all these Calgary Flames guys, they're like, oh, was it 91 or 89 or, you know, it If it's older than your fucking Subway sandwich in the fridge, it doesn't matter anymore, okay? You don't have a cup. The Canucks don't have a cup. Nobody fucking has it. The only team that has a fucking cup right now is the team that won last year, right? Like, so, and who was that? That was Tampa Bay, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The only good thing about Calgary was the Red Mile.
I'm going to tell you, the only good thing that's ever fucking come out of Calgary is the road to every other fucking city in this whole country. Okay? The one west goes through Kamloops and Canmore and hits Vancouver. The one north goes through Red Deer and Edmonton. And the one east goes through Swift Current, Regina, Winnipeg, Brandon, Thunder Bay, Toronto, Montreal, of course, every wonderful, amazing city in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and ends in the fucking ocean. So that's the best thing to come out of Calgary. So anyways, I'm not hard on. I'm not an Oilers hater. I'm not a big fan of them, but I fucking hate the Flames. So sorry, Theo. You're not going to drag me into this.
So he does come up with a follow-up question here.
Oh.
And I don't know if you can bring that up at all on the screen, but he's asking us, sorry, who is having a worse day?
Between me and you, or what?
Yeah, I guess so. But no, between.
This is on these pictures. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So the first one, who the fuck is that? This is back in the Gretzky years. Is that like them losing to the Islanders in like the early 80s or what?
I think number 5 there is Steve Smith after he scored on his own net against the Calgary Flames.
And then obviously the next one is the other Smith, Ryan Smith, getting shipped off to, I believe, Los Angeles Kings, right?
Yeah, for a bunch of garbage prospects. What?
Yeah, which was one of the biggest fucking. And then, yeah, it's got to be the third one. Yeah, Connor McDavid realizing that he just made it to the fucking graveyard of the Oilers at the time, right? Yeah. So both the other guys have gotten to actually win as an Oiler. So at this point, I think it's going to be Connor McDavid because he's the one who realizes how hard the other two actually had to work in order to get that.
That's your pick. Yep. My pick is going to be Ryan Smith for, apparently, allegedly, the $150,000 contract difference dispute. So, and getting traded as the result of it and crying all the way to the airport.
And you know what? That right there, that is why the Oilers were cursed for the next 10 fucking years. Because that was the heart and soul of that team. You ask anybody, Ryan Smith was everything to the Oilers. He was anything good that they had, and they weren't that talented. But, Craig McTavish was their coach. They had grit. They had everything. He was like, it reminds me so much. I identify this because the Vancouver Canucks did this when they traded away Trevor Linden. And it's like, this guy is not necessarily your scorer, but every scorer on your team isn't a scorer without him there. And they got rid of Ryan Smith, and it was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is the guy. And they were cursed to get the Taylor Hall disease after that and basically fall to shit. And they're still trying to correct that culture difference.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wow, I'm not even an Oiler fan. I just hit it on the head, hey? All right, Sean McAndrew says, which player do you hate but would love to have on your team? Can't be Marchand.
And that's directed to me?
To both of us, I guess. I'll just throw mine out there. There's not much story. It's Johnny Gaudreau. I don't like Flames. The kid's talented. Wish he was on the Canucks.
I don't think I could even have him on my team. Just no. I couldn't have him on my team. I would say probably Kadri.
Nazem Kadri. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a topic. Oh, got some burping going on here. Sorry, bud. Topic suggested by Daniel Bacon. Biggest surprise teams / players, good and bad this year. I take it he's talking about the beard.
Yep, I would imagine so. I would say that Washington surprised me quite a bit
Okay.
with how many points they piled up at the outset.
Yep.
They're kind of cooling off now. Just looking back to the West. Uh,
So he said good and bad.
yeah.
Oh, time
Oh,
to finish the drink.
time to drink.
Oh, we're getting into it now. Hey, I got to get some ice. I've meant to get ice for a couple now.
Sean McAndrews, New York Ranger.
Okay, what surprised you about them?
I thought that they would be in the mix for the top of the Metro, and it shocked me that they just couldn't get things done. I thought they had pretty good balance throughout their lineup, and at the time they had, the McDavid factor, but it just, I don't know, like McDavid and Draisaitl in this league, they're rated superhuman, but they're like point of game players, and it's just so incredibly disappointing compared to, like, if you look at the NHL this year, where those guys are, McDavid maybe hits 100 points this year in a shortened season. Like, it's just insanity for me.
So here's the thing, though, right? Like, and I love Sean McAndrews. He's one of my favorite guys here, right? But he's got McDavid on his team. But who's he playing with him? He doesn't have Draisaitl on the team as well, right? Like that's something a lot of people forget is like the Edmonton Oilers in the NHL. They go up and they play against your favorite team. So if you're Tommy, it's Buffalo, which doesn't fucking matter. Buffalo's gonna lose even if Edmonton sends their freaking farm team, right? But if you're Bacon, it's Chicago. If you're Trevor out of Florida, I'm sure he's a Winnipeg Jets fan. But any of these teams, if McDavid's playing against your team, who are you going to put out to defend against him, right? And then here's the thing. So your guys go out, they defend against him. Well, they need a rest. So now what happens when Draisaitl comes on the ice? And that's the thing. And Pittsburgh's been doing this shit for years with Crosby and Malkin.
Crosby and Malkin, yep.
Right? And that's how the best teams and Chicago before that did this. Chicago had an amazing defense and goalie to go with it. But if you've got enough talent that you have to put your best defenders out against two of the lines of the other team, it's going to be pretty hard to beat them. And so I see the Rangers. I see Sean with the Rangers. And you know what? Amazing team. Good job, Sean. But you need more than one scoring line to do it and to win all the games. That's how I feel about it, right? So having just Draisaitl out there, because a lot of people, remember earlier when I went and I showed that I read some of these detailed reports of what happened in the game, right? A lot of people don't realize, so you know that coach you hired, he actually does something. He line matches. He actually does shit. And he puts the better defensive lines out against guys like McDavid. And so your top line is going to have the best defenders against it a lot of the time because the coach actually sees that and works with it. So what you need to do is make it so when they have another line come out or when those guys get tired, you have another line that can score. And you have to make it on your team where if you're the team that's defending against guys like McDavid, you have a set of defensemen that can defend against them on the second line or on the third line or on the fourth line later on. So after those guys get tired, who's coming out to defend? That's kind of how I feel, and that's why I don't feel Sean was able to do it, because he's had some top-end talent, but the high-end depth hasn't been there. The depth's been there, but not the high-end depth. Not the depth that's going to win him games. That's how I feel.
And he seemed to transition to, partway through the dispersal draft to, being more about the future than about providing a support cast around around the top line there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other questions there, or should I keep rocking here?
That's all that I have.
Okay. Okay. From me to you, Corey. What is the team you would least like to swap rosters and situations with in this league?
Ooh, I'm thinking Vegas.
Okay.
Not
And why
just
is that?
not just because not just because they're bottom of the league, but it doesn't seem like they have much of anything there, right? Like, sure, on the farm they have some talent and stuff like that, but
Well,
it's like,
he's got an absolute shit ton of picks too. I'm just gonna pull
yeah,
up his picks here.
but
So, but if you're not a picks guy, this is
well, it's such a long haul, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
and so 4 or 5 years from now, is it maybe gonna come together?
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
just for some context, in 2021, he's got 4 firsts, 2 seconds. Well, I shouldn't say he. It might be a she. You never know. 2022, 3 firsts, and a total of like fucking 15 picks, 12 picks here or something like that. Like just a ridiculous amount. But it is a long haul. I totally agree with you. So for me, I gotta be honest. Like Vegas would be up there. But my absolute worst nightmare team to trade spots with, and I'm gonna pull them up here, and I'm gonna apologize because this guy's a great guy. I love this guy, but we're gonna go to the oh, he's right after them, the Washington Capitals, and
That was my honorable mention.
yeah, and for me, like just the uncertainty of next year. So Lars Eller, who somehow has made it into his center, top rated center only. I mean, he's got other players that play center. Lars Eller, okay, he's a UFA. Brian Boyle, he's a UFA. JT Miller, he's a UFA. Brian Rust, he's a UFA. Blake Como, he's a UFA. Eric Carlson, Ryan Ellis, Jake Muzzin, Sammy. So if I look at his defense, he has one guy left after this year. 5 defensemen going unrestricted this year. And that doesn't, I mean, let's go further. His number one goalie, Peter Mrazek, unrestricted free agent. This guy, what he should have done is he should have gone to Tom at the beginning of the year and said, hey, buddy, I'm going to have a bit of time on my hands around free agency time. I'd love to be the player agent. Can I help you out? Because that's what I would have done if I were him, because he is in a lot of trouble next year. Like this guy's rebuilding, and I have no idea what Sean's got for his I clicked on lines, cocksucker, prospects. Yeah, he doesn't have any first round picks. He's got a decent amount of picks. He's got like 6 or 7 for this year and next year, but no first round picks. So
And he doesn't have anything really percolating on the farm that could step in a meaningful way, I don't think. I think he's probably a couple years out for some of those farm guys.
yeah, so
So,
I'm just scrolling down to his farm. I should check my thing. Oh, look, I am good. Yeah, there's not much there on the farm. Everybody's in the low 60s rated, low to mid 60s. Maxime Lajoie is a 68 OV, 23 years old. Like 66 OV Jack Quinn. Like, yeah, there's not a lot there. Next year's gonna be really, 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 really hard for Sean Davis. I feel for you, buddy.
yeah, like you have to think that, Scott Davidson and, maybe a couple other teams are going to be hot on the trail of getting a number one goalie. So, how much does Peter Mrazek get on the open market?
Well, yeah, and he might actually get more than I would be willing to offer him.
Exactly.
Okay, who will be the most expensive off-season UFA?
Oh, I think Leonard did an article with Matthias, didn't they? On pending
Upcoming UFAs? Yes,
back
they
in the
did.
day. I don't have that
And
handy.
I'll sidebar this and I'll say, instead of saying who will be the most expensive UFA, is who will be the most overpaid UFA. I think is the way to really look at it, because the most expensive UFA, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be the most talented. But the problem is that the second most talented UFA is also going to get paid that same amount, right? Like, they're both going to max it out. Would you agree?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. So for me, now this player I actually had on my team. I'm going to pull him up here. This is the guy that I think is going to haul ass on offers, and it doesn't look like he's actually been picked for UFA. He belongs to the San Jose Sharks right now. There, let me just switch my thing on. There it is on the standings. Is Matt Niskanen. Okay, so this is a fantastic defenseman, but he's going to be 35 years old. He's still looking like he's going to be a fantastic defenseman this year. He's one of the top takeaway guys, one of the top hitters, one of the top shot blockers. Like, he's really, really good. And he's currently $6.5 million a year at the age of 34, and he's a UFA. And really, when people jump on him and see, hopefully how he re-rates and whatnot, I can see him being in the $8-9 million range.
Easy, easy. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a substantial cap hit. But they'll be probably upping it to, the danger area of 4 years for him, right? So that
Yeah.
kind of contract at the end of his career becomes kind of iffy.
So to me, that's your overpaid. That's the guy that's like, not that he's overpaid, but like, remember Bobby Halik, $8 million a year for the Rangers back in the day, right? Like,
Yep.
this is a guy, good player, great guy to have on the team. Why are you giving him so much money? And he's gonna get it. You watch, he'll get more than 6.5, and I'll probably offer him more than 6.5, because I tell you, the guy was fucking incredible. He was an incredible defender on my team, but I got him out of Song. I got him for 3.75, I think, because Tommy sent him my way and retained on him. All right. What do you think? Here's a good one from Leonard. Actually, this is a good one I think we should put in there. And I just went and deleted it. Let me hit Control Z. Anybody here who deals with a computer? Control Z is how you unfuck yourself up. It's wonderful. Yeah. Most important rule change to be implemented in the off season. What do you think?
I think it's going to be related to the finances of the league.
Okay.
But I think it's unclear what that's going to shake out to be. But I think that the one of the major pain points with the league this year has been finances and hitting uh, the endorsement targets and that sort of thing.
Okay.
How about you?
I 100% behind you there. If I sit here and like, it's the first year, and it's I don't want to say it's fun, but it's interesting to see when something really rubs all of the general managers the wrong way, right? It's like, okay, here's your sign. You know, Nobody fucking likes this, and it's not like guys. I was a commissioner. Sorry, fucking tough it up. Finances are going to be hard. You got to do well. It shouldn't be a free ride to have finances. If you can't fucking manage your money, figure it out. It shouldn't be a free ride for anyone. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like, we're in a situation where I signed up for a certain endorsement. And so I cut my ticket prices in order to hit that endorsement, because that was more important than making my ticket sales. And if we're in a situation where we're all doing that and the sim is quote unquote broken, which I believe it is in this aspect, because it's decided that it seems like the sim has decided that there's 32 teams that all have arenas on the exact same street in the exact same city, and they're competing for your business, which is bullshit. Okay? The sim should say, I don't care what anyone else is charging at all. I care about the on ice product. I want to show up because the team has great stars. I want to show up because the team is winning. I want to show up because Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin is coming to town this weekend and I'm going to pay the money to see them. That's what should be happening. And that's just not happening in the league. And so I totally agree with you. The changes to the finances is absolutely the most important thing. And, the sad thing is I don't know if we're going to get it right the first time. I'm not I don't know what the answer is. I have my own personal feelings of how to fix it, but it doesn't mean they'll work. Doesn't mean anybody's ideas are going to work. It might take a couple of years here.
Yeah, and to me, since the sim is broken and you can't fix that aspect of it, to me the most fair way of doing it is to get rid of the endorsements that tie a certain percentage of ticket sales to a particular endorsement, because since everyone's ticket prices are tied together, me lowering mine to hit my target causes yours to get lowered, and it just becomes a race to the bottom. So
Downward spiral.
I think we need to rethink the endorsements that we do have. I think the endorsements for position and standings and stuff like that is fine, but I think that we need to re-envision what the other two endorsements are. So then it becomes more about us trying to make profit and less about trying to hit certain percentages that just completely race to the bottom, or we need to completely rethink the slider aspect of the black box that is the commish settings for the league. So
yeah, and that's I've got to be honest. Like I said, I've got ideas, but in the end, that's up to Thomas. I'm not there's so much like anybody here, don't be hard on your commissioner. He does way more work than you do, I promise. There's not a single GM in this league that does less than a quarter of the work that Tom does on a daily basis. But he's going to find it and he's going to get it right. But don't expect it to be the very next iteration either, because finances is tricky. I know how I ran finances as a commissioner, and you have a choice. You have a choice when you're a commissioner. Do you want your league to care about finances or not? And Tom has said, yes, I do, and I concur. That's how I ran my league. And I had people fucking livid that they struggled with finance. Like, you know what, guys? Like, finances is a part of the league. It's as important as anything. You need to win with the bottom line in mind. And that was back before we had a salary cap, which changed everything. Salary caps were really nice, but anyways, we're gonna wrap this up really soon here, Corey, because we've been on for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I haven't even had a piss break yet. But I really like this question from Leonard. Okay, and so I'm gonna throw it out there. Beside Bacon, he says. So not Daniel Bacon out of almost said out of New Jersey. That's what he was in the PFHL back when I was a commissioner. Obviously Chicago Blackhawks right now. Who do you consider the worst lowballer? And I don't even want to say that's the question. Instead of that, let's modify that question. Say, besides Daniel Bacon, who's the toughest trade customer you've come across? Who's the hardest to make a deal with? And I don't mean the hardest to make a deal with because you don't connect with them. I mean, who drives the hardest bargain?
I think that there's a couple that I would bring up. I think Daniel out of Boston, even though he's kind of been largely a seller, his absolute demand for value in what he gets has made it difficult to hit that sort of target. The other one that I was thinking of was Tyler Hetherington out of Tampa Bay there, for different reasons.
We're gonna have to pause. Time to drink. Okay, gonna fish what I got. Mm.
Um,
Stuff's still incredible.
um, because in trade talks with Tyler, I don't get for the most part much in the way of counter offers from him. And it sort of seems like he has this line of what he's sort of looking for, and if you don't hit it, it's not gonna have any action on it. So,
So you're saying
what are your thoughts?
his method is really hard on you.
Yeah, yeah, because it seems like, well, do I need to keep on lowering or increasing my offer to make it happen? But yeah, those are my two sort of off the cuff.
So for me, I'm gonna choose Marc Andre LeBurge out of Dallas. Like, love the guy, and he. I made a trade with him recently. I've spoken to him all year long. I know he's not the most active guy, but he's around. He's around, and you talk to him, he's there. But man, I gave him what I thought was a pretty good offer for Eric Stahl, and he wouldn't do it, and he just nope, and he stuck to his guns, and it was really good, and you know. I sat there and I slept on it. I said, well, I'll just sleep on it. And I slept on it. And the very next day, I'm like, fuck it. I got to make this deal. And because I need Eric Stahl. And, you know, I gave him, I gave him like a really good penalty killer and some major upgrades. That was my sticking point. He wanted some stuff. To me, it's not necessarily the round you get your pick in, but it's the fact that you get a player that's pretty important. But because I can take a bit longer on my farm to develop players, I'm one of these guys who believes that the players that you want are 25 to 29 years old, not 20 to 23. But you know, he did this thing. Oh yeah, and disappeared for a bit. I'm like, oh fuck. So the next day I said, you know what? How's this for a deal? And I threw the Eric Stahl deal that we did, and he says, yeah, let's do it. You post it up. I'm like, holy shit. And I was just absolutely blown. I was actually talking to you at the exact same time, and you and I were both interested in Stahl. And he says, yeah, let's do it. And I was absolutely blown away that he went for it. And, you know, for the record, you'll never hear me say this again, but I think you were offering him better than what I was offering him. But at the same time, you're well,
Not for Stall, but
oh no,
for
there was something else going on.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So for him, he's my top guy. I don't deal with Daniel Bacon. Him and I are both trying to win, so we have different opinions. Same thing, Jay So, other guys. There's just certain people that I won't make trades with. Leonard Westman. We are all valuing players the exact same way, so there's no difference to be found. But I'm with you. Daniel Lazinski in Boston, Tyler Hetherington in Tampa Bay. Very, very, you know, they value the guys that they value things differently than me, and it's pretty hard to. For me, it's a hard bargain. If I'm going to get something, I gotta have to pay a hell of a lot to get it.
Yep.
So that's what it is. Anyways, I've still got a ton of questions left here. There's no point in going through too many more of them, if at all, because we've been on here for a while. Is there anything that you wanted to throw out there, Corey, before we call her a night?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I find the lack of trades on the eve of the trade deadline kind of interesting, I guess. So, you know, in the NHL, when you look at trade deadline day for the last number of years, it's been kind of lackluster, I guess. And with Beard, we've seen a lot of names move already. So part of you kind of wonders, is there anything of substance going to happen tomorrow, or is it going to be, you know, the doors blown off and everyone's been saving something? So this just in, there might be a big 8-player blockbuster deal tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
are you involved?
no, someone PM'd me anonymously saying that you know, something might be big on the go. And
Look at how people are trusting in you, but they're not trusting in me for some reason. I don't know why.
well, I find it kind of alarming based on the. I won't mention the teams because it was mentioned in the PM, but I'm just like, fuck, personally, but because it may affect me. So
Yeah, well, so that means there's stuff going on in your end of the year, or in your end of the league. Sorry, I'm just looking. We've got recent trade block announcements. Todd Snyder saying Claude Giroux, Alex Killorn, Joel Edmondson, Antoine Roussel, Johan Johansson. It's so funny because I just remember all of these guys being on my draft list and then all of a sudden being taken, and then not on my draft list. Boston Daniel, all UFAs available in Boston. Nice pieces for some playoff runs. Like who else we have available here? I know Jesse. You know what, Jesse, you're a good guy. You sent me a question, so he's talking about Kyle Turris. He's talking about Brent Burns, but this Brent Burns, Drew Doughty thing, like these guys that have term and also have a high contract. Do you think they'll get moved? Do you think anyone's like
no. Just like Slavin, not happening, not at the deadline because you can't retain.
Yeah, exactly. Like so your target. So who wants? Let's be honest here. Who wants Slavin, Doughty, or Brent Burns? And the answer is somebody who's going for the cup. Correct?
Well, not necessarily because if you like, yes, they're all premier defensemen, but as you get to the upper part of the salary you look at the overall per salary, like Burns, for example, what's he like 8 million?
Oh, he's up there.
9.5 million, sorry, for 4 years. Like the value for what you have to do to get your contracts in line with the cap to make that happen. It's not happening. Like,
well, as a team, like, sorry to cut you off, but as a team that's really close, for me, I'm sitting here thinking my goal is the cup. I want to win it this year. I really do. And I'm sitting here going like, it's not about your skills. It's not about your salary. All of that doesn't matter. It's about the value that I get for what I'm going to pay out, because I have $75 million to pay out. And on my team personally, I dare anybody to see if they're higher. I don't think anyone is. I think I'm at 87 or something million dollars of salary, but because people have taken on pieces of salary for me, or not necessarily on purpose, just inadvertently, they've retained salary and I have those players now, to take a guy like Brent Burns or like Drew Doughty and pay $9.5 million. Any team that's in the running for the cup, who's in the running for the cup that isn't really close to that limit already anyways?
I can't think of anybody, but if you put somebody like Matt Niskanen, sorry, a pending UFA who already has salary retained on him, like,
well, now you're talking.
Like, why would you not go for Niskanen over Burns? Like, you could even get part of that salary retained again on him if you were so inclined. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, well,
exactly, because you're looking at $1 or $2 million that of cap impact versus $9 million of cap impact for a guy like Doughty or Burns.
Exactly, and sure, Burns is signed for 4 years, but at 36 years old, at 4 years, that becomes problematic, 2 seasons from now, or 3 seasons or 4 seasons from now, right? So it's tough.
Yeah, and so here's the question I'll pose to you then, Corey. A guy like Drew Doughty, guy like Brent Burns, other guys in the league who are, Mark Giordano would be a really good example of it, because I personally think he's one of the best defensemen in our league right now. These guys who are in their mid to late 30s that have 4-year contracts, Alex Ovechkin would be one of them as well. What is the appropriate landing spot for somebody like that who is actually going to have to be paid the amount that's on their contract line and can't have anything retained.
The problem is that you rule out so many teams with that, right? So it just I think it becomes very problematic.
Oh, here we go.
Time to drink.
Here we go. Time to drink. This could be my last one.
Yeah, my last too.
All right, terrific. Dismiss, and we're not even going to start it again because we're not even going to be around for the next one.
I think a piece like Giordano is a lot easier to move because
I'm actually going to take a piss break, Corey. So you keep talking about Giordano there.
I think that Giordano at 7.25 is a much easier piece to move, just because of the salary comparison to Brett Burns. Like, sure, Brett Burns is an elite talent, but it's so tough once you get above the 80 OV for the standard salary brackets to fit very many of those players, if at all, on your roster. And I think that the teams that have taken on those high-end players, the reason why they're on the block is they realize that they're not good value for their money. Like, and especially for the guys that have substantial term. So, like, you look at Bacon in Chicago, he's looking for a downgrade and an upgrade in a forward position, just because what Slavin brings to the team, he's not getting good value for the contract level. So it's more than just ratings alone. It comes a lot down to trying to massage the cap, and for the teams that that think that they're ready for a run, to try to make the finances work.
That's really well said. Lizard has been drained, by the way, as if you care. But yeah,
that was quick.
My house is small. I'm the same thing with as far as that goes. It's like I've got Ryan Suter on my team, and I think I'm paying him $8 million or $7.5 million or 8.5. Anyways, he's my highest paid player, and I'm not going to trade him for anything because the guy is my team. He's my captain. He's everything. He's not going anywhere. But it's like, if I were to trade him, somebody needs to have so much room for this guy, and all the teams that have that room, they're not, they're being really competitive and they want to win right now. And, where could I trade Suter? Well, if I could trade Suter for a guy like Doughty, but somehow get Doughty's contract retained, so now Doughty costs me $4 million a year on paper. That opens up $4 million to add another defenseman or a third liner or fourth liner or a second liner, in some cases a first liner. To now I've got two players for the price of one, improving my team. And like you said massage the cap, and I think that that's like the word of the night here: massage the cap.
Yeah, like, look at, like, your team is well over the cap based on being able to retain salary, and it's like retaining salary has become, like, we now have in Beard hockey third parties that their sole purpose is to just retain cap space to make deals happen between teams as teams try to load up for a playoff run. So you have your guys, I have Hoffman and Hall who's double retained. Like, I imagine that we might see a few more guys in a similar position.
Well, to me, that's the real secret there. If you can find talent that's double retained, so $10 million, like nobody makes $10 million in the league. That's outside of the max. Well, it's not outside the maximum, but it's higher than the most highly paid player. But $10 million, if you double retain that, it goes down to $5 million, and then that goes down to $2.5 million. Well, $2.5 million, anybody can afford. Anybody can find room, especially if if his full salary was $10 million, that means he's pretty damn good. So you can find $2.5 million to pay a pretty damn good player, correct? So now you're in this situation where it's like, how many of these really talented guys in the last year or two of their contract can you get that will help you win a cup? But there's a flip side to that, which is like, what did you trade away to get that? And what happened every time you do it? Because I know I've done it several times. Every time you do it, your chances of winning in the future 2-3 years from now just went down.
Yeah, and I'm in the same place where, before bed each night, that's when I do a lot of my beard hockey stuff after the kids are in bed, and I'm just like, what moves can I make to improve my team? What GMs can I contact to try to improve my club? And I'm at 2 players right now that have retention on them, and I'm working on for this deadline to get another 2. And I'm like, well, at some point you have to question whether this screws you over too much moving forward.
Yeah. Hey, agree with you completely. Hey, you know what, Corey? Unless you've got some major thing, I think we're going to call it a day on that. We're almost at 2.5 hours. What a show, eh?
Ooh, and yeah, there's no new questions on the Beards and Booze channel, and I've got nothing new come in since then. So
well, I had a bunch more I could get into. I really want to thank I really want to thank Leonard Westman. I want to thank Sean McAndrews, Jesse Edwards. I want to thank Dan Bacon. I want to thank sorry, Tom Gidlow had something in my throat there, and Sean Hanley. As well as Theo Pepper and Scott Davidson, all the guys that, if I missed anyone, I'm really, really sorry, but all the guys that took the time and sent in some stuff for us to ask and talk about. And also, Corey, I just really want to thank you for doing this. This is awesome. We've never done this before. It's fantastic. I hope we get to do it again. But I really appreciate all the help because it sure makes the show really fun.
yeah, thanks for doing this. This podcast angle, I think, has provided us with a very interesting way of communicating with the league on top of the existing articles. And I look forward to your future guests and your future podcast endeavors. So I want to take my hat off to you, and then also everyone else that is made this possible. So
all right, thanks, Corey. And with that, hey guys, that was our Beards and Booze Spectacular. I went through a lot of booze. How much booze did you go through, Corey?
I was 5 shots of more spiced rum, Captain Morgan. So for me, it doesn't sound like a lot, but for a guy that gets drunk off of a glass of wine, I'm pretty tipsy. Like I'm going to be hobbling up the stairs into bed here shortly.
You mentioned you were 5'3". A lot of people don't know this, but I'm 6'5". So I'm down to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm about 13 or 14 drinks in, but could go further. But I'm quite happy to end it now because I've got a trade deadline to do tomorrow. But I really appreciate it, Corey. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for helping out, and thanks everyone for listening more than anything.